What's going on, everybody? How you doing?
Hello.
I'm High Res Juju. I'm here with the one and only High Res Chris.
Yeah, I've seen the memes that have been on the Reddit.
They're,
So
they're beautiful.
yeah, they are
I-
quite beautiful.
I saw you. I saw you hung one up.
I didn't hang that up. Someone else hung that on
Someone
my
else
door.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder who did that.
I feel like I'm not quite centered here.
Come on over. Scooch over. Oh,
How's that?
yeah. All right.
Now we're nice and cozy.
Yes. Cool.
All right.
So, yeah, this is our Dev Insight, guys. Sorry we weren't able to do it yesterday. We had some developments, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, there was a system that I guess the community didn't like.
That's what the word
Cards
is.
Unbound or whatever it was called. I didn't know much about it, to be honest.
Sure.
But yeah, we decided to change that up a little bit. So yeah, should we get some details out?
Yeah,
Well, I know
yeah.
everyone probably read the post already, so I don't want to
Mhm.
go through all the details there.
Absolutely.
But
It's gone.
yeah, I mean, obviously we had the reason that it was put in was there were some obviously metrics that we wanted to improve, like player engagement,
Okay.
new user conversion, all the boring like financial stuff. But it overall it kind of tailed off,
Mhm.
and all we were left with is an unhappy community.
Sure. Just wasn't worth it.
Which it just wasn't worth it.
Mhm.
So we're gonna take that. Actually, I hear like an echo in here.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
Probably because I'm talking so loud. But yeah, so we're gonna replace it with basically a new system
Okay.
that will, when you unlock a character, you'll unlock all the cards for that character.
Mhm.
And then we added this other twist to it, which I've seen a little bit of hesitation
Okay.
with the community on how we're going to unlock legendary cards.
Which we're
or-
changing.
Which we're going to change to be called
Okay.
talents.
Okay.
Because they're not really cards. They're more
Yeah.
of a way that you can look at your opponents
Mhm.
and decide on a different play style.
Right on. And so those aren't going to have levels, right?
No, there's no levels on those. What we're going to do is change up the leveling of a
Mhm.
character to be much more gradual,
Okay.
but infinite.
Awesome.
So right now there's a very steep leveling curve on the champions where, levels 10 through 25 are pretty steep,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of grinding. But we're going to make that a much more shallow, gradual, linear progression, and we will put the talents in that progression. As we come up with new ones, they'll be put in the next like level 40 or level 50 or whatever it happens to be.
Cool. You guys got a nice surprise coming up in
Yeah.
a little bit.
I see eras with some costume
Some
on or something.
accessories.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was one of the concerns I heard from the community was, hey, I'm an experienced player. Am
Mhm.
I going to have to grind a bunch to get all my legendaries?
Sure.
And the answer is most likely not.
Mhm.
Number one, if you're an existing player and you have a legendary card, that what we'll call talents in the future, you'll already have that.
Okay.
Yep. So we're not going to take anything away from any of the existing players.
Mhm.
This will be more from a new player acquisition type thing where I'm a new player coming in and I'm learning Fernando.
Mhm.
We're going to give you the talent that we feel fits that character the best.
Sure.
And then the other talents will simply be variations on how you want to adjust your play style
Mhm.
as you get more comfortable with that character.
Sure. So it's almost like having players try things as they rank up, and maybe they'll discover something they otherwise might not have.
Right. And we don't want to expose our new players to too much like alternate play
Mhm.
before they really understand how Paladins is played or how that character itself is played.
Mhm.
So yeah, and of course we'll have things like boosters and things like that that will speed up your progression.
Sure. So
Um,
kind of like what we have now, right?
Right. Like one of the problems is if we when we're removing all the unbound
Mhm.
progression out of the game,
Mhm.
we have to add something back because even though players might be totally loving the game and
Sure.
loving to play the game, there's also you need to have some sort of sense of accomplishment.
Sure.
And so those over the next year are things that we're going to add, in different various ways.
Sure. And because that's one of the challenges we have moving forward, right? Is because we had elements of this other system that were working,
Right.
and we need to move to address that in a way that works for the player base.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in a way that the players think is fair.
Okay.
So
Can we squash one concern players had?
sure.
I had someone tweet and saying, "Are you bringing Essence back? Are you, you know?"
No Essence. We're going to. We want to remove. We'd rather remove things from the game and make it a much simpler, straightforward experience than add just more complexity. We don't want to. We've heard from the players. We don't want to monetize statistics.
Gotcha.
When we start to monetize this game, it'll be more around skins and new items that we might introduce in the future, like Smite has like loading frames, like global emotes, like those silly things that are fun to collect, but not something that necessarily is going to change your gameplay at all.
Cool.
So we definitely want to stay away from the Essence and stuff like that.
Fantastic. And so can you give me a rundown of like who all was working on this decision, what went into it, the people involved with of making this happen, because I know you have been a big champion of this, but it's very much been a team effort. It's
Absolutely. It wasn't like a lot of people said, oh, Chris came in and like just within a week he turned the whole thing around. That's not how it happened at all. Although I probably helped move that thing forward a little bit, but this has been something that the team has been talking about for at least multiple weeks, at least 6 or 7 weeks.
And then you just kicked in the door and you're like, let's do this.
It's like here we go. This is something that Garrett's been heavily involved in. Even Erez and Stu and the whole team has been looking on how we can take where Paladins is today and how we can make it the best game possible in the future.
So you mentioned in the future. What does that timeline look like right now? I mean, what kind of rough ideas do we have for like what players can expect over the next coming weeks? And
so next week we have a stretch goal to get the Unbound system removed and the new system in on PTS so that we can start getting feedback from the players, and then I hope within a 2 weeks time frame we can get it live.
Okay.
Because a lot of the systems we've already had, but we'll just be tweaking a little bit, and then we'll probably be updating the UI, making some quality of life changes that maybe the old system wasn't great at. But overall, we want to get this quickly out, get people playing it, get people's feedback.
That's fantastic. And so moving forward, what would you say the key areas we're going to be working on are? I mean, I know that our overall schedule has changed with Battlegrounds moving on to become its own thing, which you're going to hear about very shortly. But so what are the areas that we're going to be doubling down on right now?
Right. So this is a good question. So first of all, we're going to get the Unbound system out. That's number one. Number two, we're going to go into the new rank season so Garrett's going to come onto the show a little bit later and talk about what the rank changes are, some system changes that we're doing there, changes maybe to the band system, that sort of thing. And then after that, we have a new champion coming out. Obviously, a lot of people already know. His name's Khan, frontline character. He's awesome. Like the art style is really, really super cool. And after that, we're going to have our first Paladins event. It's going to be an Asiatic-themed event, so we're going to have something in the game that people can interact with, quests, unlocking of content through that system, a new map, the Asiatic map that first made its premiere in China. We're going to be refining that map a little bit over the next couple weeks, and that'll be part of the Con Asiatic event and the new map. All that's going to come out in one patch.
I'm really excited for that. That's something I've watched the art team working hard on, and it's just amazing to watch. Like every new map that comes out, it just feels better and better and more lived in, and details that players have been asking for, and you're starting to see like traces of that lore represented in there too, and everything.
So I'm excited about that. I do have some questions from Twitter. Do you mind if I go through some of those?
Let's hit it.
All right. How old is Makoa?
Oh, wow.
This was actually the first question. One of the first questions someone asked. I have no idea.
I know he's ancient.
Garrett, how old is Makoa? Ancient. Okay.
He's ancient.
All right. There's no answer for that.
I wonder if Makoa knows how old he is. He's kind of because I know I start forgetting how old I am.
I mean,
past
turtles, they're old creatures,
They
right?
are.
Like, I mean, a lot of them live to like in the hundreds, I think. I don't know. I'm not a turtle expert. Another question that came from someone: new champion spoil or Kappa? I guess Kappa means maybe this was a joke question. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we have Khan, and then we have a couple characters that we have planned that are super exciting. Maybe, I don't know. Garrett, can I spoil even one? None.
Oh, but I gotta say, Khan's one of those characters just really grabs you. You know, I mean, really.
Khan's cool. Any graphical improvement for the game? So, I don't know if anyone noticed, but in OB66, we did have the ability, if you are in the maximum or very high settings, we are now using the 2K textures that we shipped with OB66. So in Smite, I think you had to like download a special DLC, and you got like the high texture definition files. For Paladins, we decided just to ship it with the game, and if you switch your settings to maximum or very high, you would get those things.
Awesome.
Yep.
I got a feeling there's a lot of people toggling their settings in game right now.
I hope so. I mean, I do. I love the art is phenomenal at that on those settings. If the talents are unlocked with mastery level, and I'm an esports player but don't have the time to level up my champs to 10, how will this system impact us?
Okay, good question.
It's a good question. The answer is we don't know quite yet, maybe. But again, we're trying to make the leveling system somewhat it just happens as you play. You don't have to grind for it.
Yeah. I think there's solutions to that.
I'm assuming that if before the players play competitively with a champion, they're going to have a lot of hours on that champion anyway, and they're probably going to just naturally unlock those legendaries over time. But if we're talking about existing characters and we're in an esports and you're an esports player, you're going to have those unlocked anyway during the patch. So you don't have to worry about it.
Yep, locked and loaded.
Yep, locked and loaded. Can we expect better skins just like the Smite ones? I think so. Yeah. Sure.
I've seen some concepts.
The only reason, we don't want to make shitty skins.
Nope.
Right? So
that's our
seems
directive.
like a no-brainer. Could we get the old, awesome, cute, cuddly Willow that we all know and love back? What does that even mean? Does that mean the voice pack that we changed?
I think so.
Garrett, can we roll back the voice pack? We'll have a vote or something.
Sure.
We'll see if the community wants the old voice pack back.
Yep. It's definitely a polarizing one.
Okay.
I've got some love and hate.
All right, we'll have to do a poll or something.
Yeah.
Should you remove the 64-bit thing? It'll cut your player base in half. They don't have to play on high or have low FPS. I don't know. Okay, so they're asking.
Yeah.
The 64-bit changes that we made for Battlegrounds screwed some players. It sounds like. So there's two things. One is the patch that went live today removed the restriction of going to the lower settings. Right. So so you can go to the low setting on a 64-bit client, and you can go all the way to the maximum or whatever. If you're having problems running the 64-bit client, you can go to the patcher and say you can uncheck the 64-bit client, and it will automatically launch the 32-bit, which will give you a little bit higher performance on the lower end machines.
And I'll send a tweet after this for those of you, giving the full details.
Yep. I think that was it. That
awesome.
Was all the questions.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to take a very quick break. We're going to have a quick rotation. We have some special people coming in, talk to you guys about what's going to be happening with Paladins Battlegrounds or whatever it may be.
Let's talk about that.
Awesome.
Cool.
We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
I'm here with our owner of High Res, Erez Gorin.
Hello.
And he's got a silly hat on.
I'm preparing for the
What?
Battlegrounds.
All right. So, all right. So, tell us a little bit about what we were trying to accomplish with Battlegrounds. Do you want to? Yeah. Maybe you should take this helmet off.
Unless, can they hear me?
No.
No. I am free.
Yes. All right.
All right, ask away.
All right. So, what was Battlegrounds? What were we trying to accomplish by putting it in Paladins?
Well, the idea behind Battlegrounds is obviously a new game mode that a lot of people are currently showing interest in, as you can tell by the number of people playing the various Battle Royale games.
Yep.
And our thought process was we can introduce something like that into the Paladins format.
Yep.
That we tested internally. It was a lot of fun. So that was the idea behind Battlegrounds.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we did a lot of work to try and make that
it
happen.
work. Yep.
And we learned a variety of things along the way of making that something to play.
So, what kind of things didn't work in having it in the Paladins core game, and why did we decide to make it its own game?
Well, the biggest issues, so we had to go through several steps in order to see if this type of game format would work for us.
Right.
There's only so much internal testing you can do when you need 100 players in the match every time.
Yep.
And that means that we had to do both internal tests, tests on the PTS, and also go into a live environment
Right.
to get the right number of people in order to try the various formats.
Right.
What we basically found is that while the general game format is something that's very enjoyable, it started placing a lot of constraints on how we deal with Paladins going forward, and how to make something like Battlegrounds work as well as possible.
Right.
So the decision to separate the two came from that.
Yep. Some of those issues were, the acquiring of weapons that were different. Weapon ranges may have been not optimized for that large of map.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the other things that you thought didn't work in that sort of format in Paladins itself?
So there's two different ways to look at it. One is what works well in Paladins that doesn't work well in the Battlegrounds, and what would potentially work well in the Battlegrounds that would not work in the core Paladins game.
Right, right.
So there are various things that you've mentioned just now. For example, weapon ranges might be an issue. When you pre-select one character, and you have to play against other characters, and they have very different weapon ranges. What we saw in live is that a lot of classes were significantly more overpicked than other classes,
Yep.
and to what people would consider to be viable to play.
Right.
So
you didn't want to go solo with a Fernando, most likely.
Most likely.
I mean, maybe that would have worked.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And also, what happened was once you get to 4 people, if you played like a quad queue, and let's say your healer died or something, you weren't necessarily as interested in continuing with the match,
Right.
stuff of that nature. So, so obviously, if we started messing around with all of the weapons and abilities that are there to make Battlegrounds work well, that would impact the core
game.
gameplay. Because
Right.
if Fernando was able to shoot laser beams at you from 1,000 miles away,
Yep.
obviously that's going to have a large impact.
That's going to have an impact. Yeah.
So that was one issue on one side. So we needed certain improvements to Battlegrounds in order to make it more viable game. We think that would take it all the way to where we envision it going.
Yep.
And then the same kind of thing. If we did something in Paladins, if we put something in the game itself,
we would have to worry about the Battlegrounds.
exactly.
Piece of it.
And that included everything from the items that you were getting
Yep.
to how the weapons behave, the abilities that you have. And then we got to the third part, which was kind of technical issues, right? As you see with the 64-bit client, with the type of graphics that we needed to use, the limitations that presented
Right.
has an impact.
Even how our characters are put together, like the rig didn't really support adding just anyone's weapon to one character, like
If
when
we
we were
wanted-
trying the YOLO mode.
If we wanted to do something like that,
Right.
or other things like, if you wanted to go through a window, for example, that's not the type of functionality that we have in the regular game mode. Well, now if we add it to
Right.
the Battleground, then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
how would that impact our normal
And if we
game.
want to do crouching or sprinting or anything
things of
like
that nature would start
Yeah.
messing it up. But like I said, the technical part also, the technical requirements for doing a battleground mode are very different than the technical requirements
Yeah.
for doing just the normal
Right.
Paladins mode.
Now the good thing is we did a lot of graphical updates and performance improvements to make Battlegrounds work.
Mhm.
We get to keep that in the core Paladins code base,
Yeah.
and so we did get some benefit from all of that work.
Right. So there is work that was done both in improving the platform and some of the things to accommodate a lot more players. We obviously had some learnings there that apply back to all of our games,
Right.
As well as individual things and how they would work that I think are cross-functional.
Cool. Well, tell us a little bit about what the players should expect about testing this new game.
So the current plan is to spend the next week or so cleaning up a version that we can then put out again for testing purposes.
Yep.
Internally, we had a mode called YOLO mode that we tested that a lot of people enjoyed, and
How was that different from the experience that most of our players
So
have
it's
seen?
a little bit more of a traditional, if there's such a thing, battle royale type of mode where you're able to pick a variety of different weapons. So in this case, you're able to pick different weapons and abilities and combine them together into
Right.
something new and have the experience that way. And you're able to actually have more than one weapon. So a good example of that is that maybe I had the buck shotgun
Yep.
and the Canessa sniper rifle, so I can go either short or long with an ability that came.
And you looted that in the world.
And you
right?
looted that in the world of different
Right.
qualities. Or if another player was killed, they can drop the weapon,
Yep.
and you can pick that up. And then there's abilities as well. So I may have had that with the barrack turret.
Right. And an EV stealth. Or,
Yeah, and an EV
or
stealth.
not an EV, but
Some
yeah.
Right. Sky stealth,
Sky,
for example.
Sky stealth.
So those combinations became kind of interesting
Right.
and fun to play. And
Will we see that in the new one?
so that's what we're going to test out in the new one. And obviously,
So you're going to have a base character, and you'll be able to get different weapons from different characters and paladins,
Right.
and possibly even their abilities.
but there will be modified versions of it because the restrictions that Paladins has on certain weapons and such don't necessarily transfer exactly to the way that we want it to behave in the
Right.
Battlegrounds mode. So they will be very similar like weapons,
Mm.
but they may have different damage stats on them, different speeds on
Right.
projectiles,
Now it's a
things
separate
of
game.
that
We can
nature.
do more. We can do more customization for the Battlegrounds mode
Right.
itself.
Like a Drogo's rocket may work well in in tight areas.
Yep.
But in a big open battleground, it might
Maybe
be
not so
completely
much.
useless. Might
Yep.
need to be twice as fast in order
Right.
to work. So those are the kind of things that would be heavily changed with it to just specifically accommodate the battleground mode.
Okay.
And like you said, a single player character, so you can go into the world naked more or less, and then build up your class in some ways as to how you want it to play based on finding various things.
Cool.
So you don't have to pick out, a particular type of champion at the start, or pick up, make any of those selections. You use that by
Right.
playing the game.
Right. Do we have any thoughts on if this is going to be a free-to-play game or something that we're going to have a price on it where just you buy it and you unlock the whole game?
Well, based on all the feedback that we got on Cards Unbound, I don't think we want to make anything that has even a remote sense of pay to win progression on it.
Right.
So
So it's going to be cosmetic
so
mostly.
right now, our plan is to be 100% cosmetic.
Okay.
Everything else comes with the game. So
Okay.
if other people have played other games like a Fortnite, for example, such as
Right.
very similar format to that.
Okay. Cool. Matthew, were there any other questions that we didn't hit? What
There
about
will-
stealth mechanics?
There will be stealth mechanics in the game, as well as anti-stealth mechanics, just like we have now with cards like Illuminate. So that will be transferring over to this gameplay as well. And that's what we wanted. We want the game to be a little bit more unique in terms of building up
Right.
a style of play
Yep.
that you get through the world versus just pure gunplay
Right.
on it. So that's most of what the differentiator is going to be between us and the various other type
Right.
of battle royale games is that you do build more of a class
Yep.
along the way as you find various items. So you get to play in a particular way that you want, as long as you find those those things.
Someone asked on my Twitter, will they ever see a Smite character in the new game?
Well, again, there's only a single character type,
Right.
so you're not going to see any characters in there. But
There could be a skin though.
there might
that's
be
up in the
skins, and there
Smite.
might be abilities that we take, which is what
From
we've
Smite?
done. Yeah, there might be
Like Amir's Wall's coming or something.
if there isn't a narrow wall, which
That's
is very
true.
similar.
That's a good point.
But yes, there might be
Yeah.
some particular type of abilities that we find to be interesting,
Okay.
and then we can bring them into the Battlegrounds
Ares
game mode.
Chains of Death or something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Great. What about the chickens?
The chickens
they
are
gonna stay?
staying.
They've got to stay. They're so cute.
The chickens are staying. Some of the other things that will change probably are we're going to test out the initial format for Battleground, which more people are used to, which is our giant zeppelin's going to go around and you'll jump off the
Oh, you're
zeppelin.
going to actually skydive like you would in some
We're
of
going
the
to
other
test.
games?
We're going to test that out because people have asked for that and wanted
Right.
that, so we're going to try
Okay.
that as well. So there'll be some other mechanics like that people are
Right.
used to seeing.
Okay. Great.
What else do you have?
You got anything else? All right. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to get Garrett up here.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Cool.
We'll see you later.
See you
Thank
guys. Thanks.
So there you have it, guys. You've heard about the new spin-off that's going to be current. I hope everyone's excited about that. I've
should
had a
be.
chance to
It's
play
gonna
it.
be. It's gonna be awesome.
Well,
gonna kick
play
some butt
a
with
version of it. So
Yes. Yes.
I think you guys know the one and only Iris Martini. We got with us here, Gary.
How you guys doing?
It's been awesome to see everyone so excited. I think we got a lot of awesome stuff coming. I feel like it's kind of like this moment where the dam's broke and it's just all awesome all the time.
Everything is feeling real good right now.
Yes, sir.
We've been a lot of places with as a Paladins family.
We've been high.
We've been high. We've been less high. And we're
we've
gonna go
been
higher.
really high.
We're gonna go higher. We're gonna go higher, guys. But yeah, we have a lot of good stuff ahead of us. We've touched on some of the changes that Matt and Chris were talking about before, along with kind of the new revelations with what Battlegrounds is gonna end up becoming. It's all really exciting. But for my core family of Paladins, brothers and sisters, we have some also kind of just let's get right back into the groove
Oh,
of
yeah.
what makes Paladins awesome, and that is this kind of fast-paced, class-based, kind of deck-building arena shooter that makes us what we are.
And we're diving back into that
oh, yes.
full force. We
Yes,
got
yes.
some new stuff coming up. We've talked about Season 2 in the past,
We have, yes.
and
But it's getting closer now.
it's getting closer.
It's getting a little closer.
And I feel like now we're better able to just give it our all and get in there and start, really tweaking things to get people involved and
Yeah, the changes to the card system, so we're going to have a unified competitive and casual play rules, so there's not this weird break and gap between
Sure.
the two. So what you're practicing in normal siege is what you're going to get in ranked when the new season hits. It helps everyone. It helps
Yeah.
you learn. It's a clear path for how do I get better at this game. How do I kind of just explore who I am as a champion.
And I think it builds a better funnel, I guess you could say, of those new players graduating on to become like mediocre players, and then good players, and just
And
populating.
then world champions.
We've had a few.
We've had a few.
We've had a
yeah,
few.
Dude, oh god, you're taking me back to HRX now, man. Like those are some awesome times. But just for everyone who maybe has been caught up in a lot of the kind of card stuff recently, I kind of want to retouch on what we have coming for season 2, just because I think it's going to be super awesome. So kind of the biggest thing, if you're familiar with our drafting phase, is that we've had 2 bans. A ban is essentially when I say this character in the match, not this match. I don't want to go against Matt's Maeve or Matt's Makoa, because you're killing me too many times, Matt. It's crazy. So I can ban it. And what we're going to do for season 2 is add an additional single ban to each team, so a total of 4 bans. So you can remove 4 potential characters from your game. This is going to open up a lot of strategy in regards to viable compositions. If a certain character is favorable in the meta right now, you can take away that one and any more that are maybe supporting that character, why it's strong, why they're meta, or do very, very targeted bans. Now you can theoretically target ban the entire enemy team if you choose, or not the entire, half.
Can I ask you something that people
yeah,
have been asking a lot though? So how does before, I'm guessing season 2 looked a lot different before when season 2 was Unbound. When those kind of mechanics were still in place.
Absolutely.
How's that going to affect this? Do we know yet? What kind of ideas do you have? I know that you're working on some blog posts that'll be up in the near future.
Right, so yeah, when we had, again, the split of the 2 card systems, right, we were talking about, okay, well, what is the rank card level going to be like? We're currently 4, we're talking about going to 5, but now that it's just synergistic and all one, then it's going to be it's basically going to be what everyone is used to and accustomed to, with a little bit more nicety in regards to the card limit. Before we had 4 points card maximum, a total of 12 in a deck. Now we're moving to 15 and 5 levels on each card.
And these aren't levels that people got to earn or unlock or anything like that.
You get the card, you can use any amount of numbers of levels of the card, so it's very player friendly, very clear and purposeful, and you can get all the cards right for free initially, right? So you come in, you're like, I want to build this deck, and you can.
You can do it. Yep.
And you can experience the full value of it without any time sink. It's pretty cool. Some of the other season 2 stuff that we wanted to touch on also was that just because we've kind of been working on this Battlegrounds mode, we've like pushing back when the season's going to happen, and you guys are, if you're a competitive player, you're watching your timer go down. No worries. Basically, regardless of what the date says, fundamentally, the last season is going to end when the new season starts. So that's how long you have to get your rewards. And speaking of rewards, season 2, we got some new stuff coming for you. So we have a brand new skin that you're going to get for qualifying into one of the gold brackets. You're going to get rewards for just qualifying for ranked, in addition to also what we'd like to do, and this is something that we owe to Chris too, because coming from Smite, they do their competitive a little bit differently. And there's the concept of kind of an end of season reward. So you're motivated to qualify and get in early, get that new one that's coming out. But then also there's going to be a future to be announced skin that should be pretty badass, that will be announced later into the season. So you have reasons to stick around, reasons to maintain that rating, reasons to keep kicking butt.
And so in many ways, that's kind of one of the solutions we were talking about to try and like replace some of the things that are going to be missing with the change, like giving people that incentive to get engaged and keep playing.
Yeah, no, there'll be plenty of incentive to get engaged and keep playing. It should be really cool. Also talking about just some additional supporting systems that I'm not going to spoil yet, but more things to earn, more things to unlock and kind of display either your skill, your dedication, or just things you like, customizing kind of your in-game persona or personality. This would be pretty neat. And just as there is the kind of unlocking systems portion of it, there is also kind of some balance stuff going into the season that I can preview. We are treating OB67 as kind of our season 2 patch, and generally speaking, we're going to do a good collection of changes in regards to the game balance, meta balance, things like that. And as some of it has been previewed, right, because you guys have been PTSing Battlegrounds, you're like, oh, wow, Ying is shooting a lot faster, or excuse me, farther. And you're like, It feels really good.
Yeah, that was one of the things that, like, just worked out for our game, and was worth keeping around. Something we learned from all this testing we've done.
Yeah, no, trying to find a way for Ying to kind of maintain this off healing role. I know there's some contention previously. It's like, man, Ying has fallen out of favorability, and we're looking at things kind of across all player skill ranges and bases, and it's like, statistically, she's probably performing right where the kind of automatic, like, no skill shot healer should be performing in regards to, versus like a Maldamba.
Yeah.
Theoretically, at your higher skill levels of play, the healer that can just deploy something that automatically heals everyone around it shouldn't be able to have as much maximal output as the character who's like, slow projectile gourd here. If I hit it, oh god, I got him on this point. Great. Boom, hit the allied Drogos flying through the sky with that. So there's a little bit of just fairness involved, but where this weapon change kind of facilitates Ying coming into the middle a bit better is not necessarily as affecting her kind of throughput as a healer, but more as she can contribute in a far better way, while not as leaning so much on the fact that the automatic nature of her heals kind of means that she can't be the team main healer because it's too free, too easy.
So you're thinking almost like Rock or Pip, where, like, people understand that, like, their healing might not always be at the top level.
Yeah, definitely.
They might not always be up at that top level for targeted heals and whatnot,
well,
but they're able to
for targeted,
to
but
pump
I mean,
that damage.
like
targeted.
as we saw at HRX, like both those characters made kind of a showing. They both did very well in their own right. So
Absolutely.
The sport class is alive and well, and they might be seeing some kind of adjustments to make sure that the fact that they have decent damage output. Our supports in Paladins are actually fairly lethal, almost across the board. It's something we like. It's something we want to keep because it feels good to be able to take down bad guys regardless of your role,
Sure.
while at the same time being able to contribute as your role.
Cool.
But that sometimes that means that the Grok dropping his healing totem and then just fragging you in the face and then going like immune immediately after sometimes can be a little bit of a contradictory game statement for the damage class who's like, he has all of those things, yet I'm here with like maybe an HP card in my loadout and no self heal. It's like, dang it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so touching up on kind of those, making sure that all the roles feel good coming into this new season. But I think it's going to be pretty badass, guys, and I'm looking forward to going in and qualifying. Oh, and also last season we did 15 qualifying matches.
We did.
And we're going to drop it to 10.
Cool.
I don't think there's no necessity. And also, as previously before, we did a hard reset when we went from kind of the initial Paladins alpha stages of rank to rank 2.0.
Yep.
So this one is going to be a bit of a soft reset.
Yep.
So players should kind of get into the groove a lot easier from where they were in the last season, and just get back to playing.
Now let me ask you this: with the changes to the queues that are going to be coming up and the rule sets and everything, we're probably going to see much better queues, which will mean much better matchmaking.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to simplify the queues, right? Because like there's no longer the Unbound queue, there's no longer the Battlegrounds queue. All of your players are going to be just in the main queues. I think actually I was looking at mock-ups of kind of the structure earlier today. It's just going to be Siege, Deathmatch, and Competitive. Those are like where we're directing our players. So
Awesome.
Very simple, very great to understand, and just truly emphasizes like what Paladins is. I'm also super excited too because like I don't know if it got enough resonance in the community but I just want to give a shout out to our both QA and programming team because we've been hearing you guys. We don't like when a competitive game has any buggy elements in it at all, but we got like 75 plus bugs down in the last patch, and it's something we're going to be continually doing. That's part of Chris's stance going forward, is to have a really good and just integrity foundation for the title in terms of technology. So work with us, like call these things out, help us get these repros, but we want to eliminate them all from the game. And I was watching streams earlier, and I think I was watching Feyraz, and I was like, oh god, there's this one bug where you like come spawn in or you respawn and you're on your horse but you're in 1P and like you're just running fast. I was like, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna fix this. It's gonna be better. But so all the bug fixes plus all the technological advancements and performance optimizations that we got from kind of learning how to do 100 players in a map is all going to make Season 2 and Paladins in the future just better.
I mean, like between Chris's experience on Smite, I think anyone who plays Smite can attest to like what a great game that is right now, and
Smite's awesome.
What we've learned from Battlegrounds. I think we have a lot of learning experiences that have given us this roadmap, so to speak, of just how to keep making Paladins bigger and better.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this year, guys. Like, events, characters, maps, quality of life features, bug fixes. Like everything is going to be so good. And if there's anything you think you'd like to see in Paladins that maybe you haven't yet, just tweet at me, tweet at Hirat Juju over here, and we'll see if we can make it happen.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking with me, man. And again, guys, Garrett's working on some blog posts. Those will be up probably in the next week or two.
Sure.
You'll be able to kind of get a little more, idea of like what's going through design in general's mind as they work. And we even got new designer on working with us.
We did. We got the legendary Kevin Meyer.
Yes.
Hopefully you guys will be seeing him around.
Yep, absolutely. So, on that note, I think we're gonna wrap up, and we'll both be on social media and everything. You know where to reach us, and we look forward to bringing you guys season 2, some new events, like Garrett said.
Yeah.
And I guess we should close this out. I know that our friend gets mad when we mess up.
I know, dude.
So,
I was like, it's just sitting in the back of my mind. Like, should we do the outro?
I'm counting on you.
Should we do the outro?
Don't let us down.
I think I'll just kind of cut it sweet and short, and I'll just see you guys later in the realm.